As we continue on WGLT's News Magazine Sound Ideas, the question of how the Bloomington-Normal community could provide services to the asylum seekers is one that a committee of government and social service leaders is trying to address. Town of Normal Mayor Chris Koo said back in 2022 the town was exploring what it would do if a bus of migrants arrived, but added the town would need to be realistic about what it would be able to do, citing the community's housing shortage. In recent months, the McLean County Emergency Management Agency has headed up discussions about a potential migrant influx. Cathy Beck is the agency's director.
One of the things that EMA does is make plans. So we are following everything else that's going on across the country and in the state and seeing that other communities are getting buses or planes or trains. So it's time to plan to be ready in case we do get some. Probably been planning for a couple of months.
And who all has been involved in those discussions?
We've worked with different police departments, fire departments, administration offices, social service agencies. We try to do it as a whole, all hands-on approach.
In Bloomington-Normal, city governments as well, or those beyond the Twin Cities?
The entire county. We try to bring everybody in, and we have no way of knowing if we get a bus, when we get a bus, and where we get a bus.
What is the stated objective for this group that's been meeting? What are you looking to solve?
We are following the state guidelines, and the biggest goal out of this is to be able to get the immigrants up to an intake center where they can get the services that they need.
What all services would be offered there?
They do health screenings, would work with people with housing, with immigration issues, and provide basic life support things.
What kind of long-term help would be available to them there?
I can't answer for what they're doing up there. I plan for down here and how we can get them where we need to get them.
So as far as the municipalities of Bloomington-Normal, there's been talk about housing and them needing to be housed here potentially. You don't anticipate that as being an issue?
Housing in our communities is an issue all the time. We have the homeless population here, and we need to help them. And if we do get a bus full of people and we can't turn them up to Chicago immediately, we'll do what we can to get them something so that they're safe until we can get them to where they need to go.
What role, if any, would the social services agencies that have been involved in these discussions, human service organizations, what role would they have in this potentially?
If we get people and if we need to keep them for overnight or something because of not being able to get the transportation right then and there due to weather or whatever else, we would look to those social service agencies to assist with food and basic life things. Housing, again, is going to be an issue.
How would that potentially play out? What could be made available, if anything?
That's a gap that we have right now. Again, we have all these homeless people that don't have anywhere to go, so finding places for other people who would be defined as homeless is going to be a problem.
Any role that McLean County EMA would be able to play in that?
We'd work with all of the partners that we have, and we've got partners across the entire county trying to find somewhere that we could, put people for overnight or hopefully just an overnight. But we would kind of lead that charge and put all those pieces together. That's why we have an emergency operations center, so we can all come together and discuss and plan and figure everything out.
I imagine as far as the migrant population goes, they're not going to be here for an overnight stay, right? There would likely be a need for some long-term housing.
There could be, but I mean, there's a whole bunch of what's and ifs, and we just can't plan for every single what and if ahead of time. It's gonna have to be something that we do when it happens.
That was Cathy Beck with the McLean County Emergency Management Agency. She would not comment on the county board proposal to ban funding for migrants, but she said it would be a life safety issue if the community was unable to provide housing for those who need it. The Illinois Department of Human Services recently opened the intake center in Chicago to process migrants and help them get to a final destination. That could mean family or friends or to a shelter. Migrants have already been staying at the intake center for weeks. Hundreds are sleeping in buses at the site. The state is also putting up heated tents next door. The tents are expected to be ready by the end of January. WBEZ reports the tents will be used for social services, not housing. Tomorrow on Sound Ideas, the Immigration Project, based in Normal, has been involved in talks with the government leaders in McLean County on how to prepare for migrant arrivals, and it's been offering legal assistance for Illinois' newcomers. We'll hear from the Immigration Project on tomorrow's show. The McLean County Board is scheduled to vote on the resolution tomorrow night. We will have a full recap at WGLT.org after the meeting and on Morning Edition Friday.